everybody. Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Hopefully this is going to be a treat. This is Lawsons Spring Fever Session IPA. And what they mean by session, it's a low ABV beer coming in at 3.80%. So this is less than a 4% beer. And it's a big bottle here. Says it's 1 pint, 6 fluid ounces on there. Trevor went up to Vermont and brought this beer back to me, and he said it's very hard to get even up there. I mean, you have to be in the right place at the right time to even get your hands on these beers. So, Trevor, thanks again for bringing those beers back from Vermont on your trip and bringing them to me, especially. This type of beer is a beer that, you know, it's not sold in the 6-packs or 4-packs being in the great big bottle like this, but it's something you could drink several bottles of and still not be inebriated or as I say, shit-faced. So with that being said, a very easy drinking sessionable IPA, if you will. So let's see what it says about this beer. Commercial description on this beer is: Spring Fever delivers the flavor impact of an American IPA with the sessionability and lower alcohol of a light beer. Catch the fever before it's gone. Doesn't have the IBUs listed here on either site, guys, so I don't know what the IBUs are on this beer. Being a lower AB beer, I would think it's a lower malt bill and a lower hop bill as far as bittering aspect of it is. You would want it to be super bitter and have a low malt bill, and that's usually how it works in the brewing, craft brewing industry. You try to balance that out and not have the beer too bitter for the sweetness up front, and have it kind of even out. I mean, you wouldn't want it super sweet and then not enough bittering, or vice versa, too bitter on the back end to match the sweetness up front. So, being a 3.8%er, it's a very tough balancing act, trying to get enough malt to be tasty and enough bitterness and sweetness to balance out the beer. So, let's get on with this one. The food pairings for this beer is going to be your typical IPA food pairing. Cuisine's curried and Thai. Cheeses are peppery. Monterey, pepper jack, sharp, blue, cheddar. Your more pungent cheeses, Gorgonzola, Limburger. The meat is poultry, fish, shellfish, and salmon, and I will add grilled meat to that because I like just about everything off the grill with my IPAs. Glassware, the pint back there, the tumbler, and mug, Sidel, or the Stein. I got the pint glass today. And not recommended for scent of celery because, 1, it's 3.8%, and 2, it's an IPA. So you want to get this as fresh as possible. And let's see how this foil comes off. They've got this one on. I really didn't want to tear it, but it looks like I'm going to have to. It spins around. So it's not glued on, but they've got it snug against the small neck of the bottle here. Got a plain silver cap on it, so get the opener here. Nice hiss. Pretty sure it's not dated, guys. They're a really small brewery from what I hear from Trevor. So to the glass we go. 3.8%, guys. Very low ABV. Over to the light, I can see right through it. It's a very orangey, tangerine color. A lot of bubbles streaming up with that semi-aggressive pour, about a finger of head. A lot of big bubbles from that aggressive, semi-aggressive pour. There are a lot of small bubbles in there, so looks very good in the glass. Let's get a nose on it. Oh yeah, very nice grapefruity pineapple smell. Oh, it smells wonderful. It really, really does. It really impresses me when you can get a low ABV beer like this and it smells like a stone enjoyed by, or a heady topper or something with that much pininess and grapefruitiness and pineappleness in there. So, wow, a lot of tropical fruit notes. Smells very fruity, guys. And like I said, they're out of Vermont. They're out of Warren, Vermont. 3.8%. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Trevor. Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely got a bitterness on the back end, which IPAs are supposed to. To me, it's a little heavy on the bitterness on the back end. But that's, like I said, that's a balancing act for a low malt bill to get that 3.8%. They have to reduce that malt, use less of it to get that alcohol down. And it's a balancing act not to put too much bittering hops in while you're brewing. Of course, you can dry hop the hell out of it on the end and get a lot of these tropical fruity notes and stuff like that, but the initial taste and stuff, it's got to have enough sweetness up front to match the bitterness on the back end. Very pleasant. Very, very pleasant. I would drink this a lot if I could get my hands on it. Because at 3.8%, like I said, and it's a bomber. It's a 22 ouncer. You could share this. I mean, you could pick up. I don't know what Trevor paid for this, but you could pick up several of these and not worried about getting faced from drinking a 10, 11, 12 percenter. Especially if you're not used to drinking that big of a beer. So this is what technically would be called a light IPA. Something you could drink multiple glasses of. I'm going to say multiple bottles, but you could without worrying about, you could actually drink a glass or two of this at lunchtime and go back to work and not have to worry about being inebriated and being able to function and your head's all spinning around and all that. So, and of course, y'all can hear the jet motor air conditioners running in the background. It's about 95 degrees out there today again, so very hot around here this time of year. Very pleasant. I do think the bitterness is a little strong for the lower malt bill, but it's right out of the fridge at 40 degrees. Let's let it warm up a hair and share the other half of this with the other half, and we'll come back and do the final chug like I always do. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Just to the left. This is a very tasty beer. I mean, it's a little strong on the bitterness for the malt that's in this one, in my opinion, but it is for a 3.8% beer. Very tasty IPA. It really is, and very sessionable. Now that it's warmed up, it's not quite as bitter as it was when it was cold, but still I think the bitterness is just a hair out of balance with the sweetness of that's in the beer. So very tasty. It is. And like I said, this is a very small brewery in Vermont. The bottles they're hand bottled. I mean, there's no machine that does this. It's unpasteurized and unfiltered. So I mean, it's very clear beer for an unfiltered beer. So let's do the final chug here. Very tasty. Very tasty, guys. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, this is a 9 beer, but it doesn't have a date on the bottle. It's a 3.8%, which and plus on top of that, it's an IPA. I know these beers probably don't even hit the shelves. People are standing in line when the truck backs up, and they take everything off the truck. So I mean, it's basically insignificant that it doesn't have a date, but I'm a kind of stickler for that. So if somebody sends you this beer, you have no idea how old the beer is without a date on it. So still like to see a date on this beer, on these IPAs and low ABV IPA on top of that. So instead of the 9, I'm gonna give it the 8. I still think it's an A beer. It's definitely a very tasty, sessionable beer. If you're in Vermont, you're very lucky. I mean, there are some great breweries up there. Hetty Topper and this one, Lawsons, and Hillstead Barnes or something like that. I mean, there are several great breweries in Vermont. So it gets the 8 for me. Let's see what everybody else thinks. We'll go over to Beer Advocate first. Beer Advocate says 90, which is in their outstanding range, and I'd agree with that. If I was putting a numeric rating on it, it would probably be between 90 and 92. That's where I would put it. Over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 97 overall and 99 in the style. So I think my numbers might be a tad conservative, but damn it, I'm a stickler for that dating. Everybody knows that's watched my 1,400 and some beer reviews now. That I kind of like to see that on the IPAs, especially a low ABV IPA. So I mean, if they're hand bottled, I mean, somebody could put a sticker on that or something to let you know. But a lot of these breweries really don't care. I mean, the stuff barely makes it to the shelf before it flies off of it. So none of the stuff sits around very long. And as long as they have that kind of support, they probably really don't care whether it has a date on it or not. So that's the real world. That's the world we live in craft beer, and that's the way it is. So I'm gonna keep fussing about it until we see a bottle date or something like that on all the IPAs, guys. So if you had this one from Lawson's Finest Liquids out of Warren, Vermont, give me some comments back on this one. And Trevor, thanks again, brother, for bringing those beers down to me. I enjoyed this one pretty much. So it's very tasty beer for a 3.8%er. Got all the qualities a typical IPA has. Grape fruitiness and the pineapple and the pine and very tropical fruits in this beer. So very tasty, guys. So if you've had it, let me know what you think of it. Let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow, guys. See you then.